Right, now that you're here, let's get on with it. Right. Partly in the sun, partly in the shade. Don't know how that's going to work out. Reminds me a little bit of Shakespeare in Love. You need to find your light. Anyway. Right. Away we go. Kia ora, my friends. How do you do? I, Benny Ward, am here in the garden for another cold open. And I say cold open, it's actually quite a warm day here in Marlborough. Hope it's a nice day wherever you're watching around the world. Sounds good, doesn't it? Watching around the world. This is MML 155, getting perilously, excruciatingly close to the 3-year anniversary of Monday Morning Live. It's going to be a special occasion next week. But let's make it a special occasion today. Today there's a theme for the show. I've just wrapped up our season of Shakespeare in Love at the Boathouse Theatre. Thank you to the hundreds of people that came to see us. Today is about spreading love and giving flowers. Not literally, I haven't got a whole bunch of flowers to give away. I'm going to try and work on that. I'll tell you about that in live gardening. But today it's more about giving literal flowers. In a way, giving credit where credit is due. And with that in mind, hang on, I timed that poorly, wait there. Never underestimate the value of water, especially when you need to take a sip partway through your introduction to what's in the bag. Have to be very careful with the bag today. Something in there that's very delicate. Now, usually what's in the bag would be something that I got from the Marlborough Farmers Market. But yesterday, I didn't go to the Marlborough Farmers Market. I left it to my good friend Neville to hold the fort. It's not a fort, it's the AMP Showgrounds, but that's not important. I wanted to give my full focus to Shakespeare in Love, the play that we've just finished. And so what's in the bag today comes from somebody in the cast of Shakespeare in Love. Some flowers. Now, I got these flowers from one of the cast. Her name is Rose. And she gave a little bouquet of flowers. Shout out to Mum, thanks for watching. Now, Rose gave flowers to each of the cast. Rose plays, Rose in Shakespeare in Love, Rose plays Viola. She was sometimes called Viola, sometimes called Viola, but it's Viola, right? So Rose played Viola. Viola pretended to be Thomas Kent in order to get the role of Romeo in Romeo and Juliet. But when it was discovered that Thomas Kent was a woman are banned from the stage, the Rose Theatre was closed, the Curtain Theatre was opened by Richard Burbage to accommodate Romeo and Juliet, where Rose, who plays Thomas Kent, was to play Romeo, would then play Juliet. Confused? So was I, for about the first 2 months. But after rehearsing it several times, and performing it 10 times live to mostly sold out crowds, finally started to get my head around the fact that this very talented actress, Rose, was playing these multiple roles. These flowers came from Rose. So thank you very much for the flowers. And I'm going to give some flowers to anyone who joins us live, including Mum. Actually, let's decorate the set with these flowers. Let's put them just here. Just here. Right. Let's do live gardening. Now, I've got these flowers from Rose, who plays Viola. Today, I'm going to sow some seeds of Viola. Sometimes called Viola, sometimes called Viola, but so was Rose at different times of the production of Shakespeare in Love. So we're sowing violas. We're going to do them into this open tray. Now I've just sort of 3/4 of the way filled this with a very finely sieved potting mix. I sieved the potting mix using the Benny's 6100 series sieve, available in the gift shop. Why not buy 2? Now, the interesting thing, I've got two different sorts, two different colours, I guess. And I'm going to do the half and half trick. I've got a label for each one. And my little system is just put the name and the variety and the date of when I sowed. So S274, which is today. And the first thing that I discover when I open up the little seed pack is that they're actually in another little pack. Very fine seeds, very delicate. So we just have to be careful when we're sowing these. Shakespeare in Love was an incredible experience for me. All the way, 3.5 months ago when I sort of auditioned but didn't realise I was auditioning. I was asked to come along and just read some lines. They chucked me the script and we just went from there. And here we are, 10 pretty much sold out shows later. I'm just sprinkling these into the palm of my hand. Very delicate little seeds. And just get them all out there. And I'm going to just sprinkle them across the surface of this finely sieved Yates potting mix. Yates provided the potting mix, kindly donated after I paid. They also supplied the seeds, kindly donated after I paid. So sprinkle those across the surface. Now I've just got a little bit of extra finely sieved potting mix. Just going to sprinkle that on the top. Just like that, just to cover them. Some seeds, like we found with our basil, some seeds like to see a little bit of light in order to germinate, but these ones like it nice and dark. So we've covered that over. Now, what do we do when we plant something new? We give it some water, because you can never underestimate the value of water, and we do so using the Benny's 6100 series spritzer. Whoops. Available in the gift shop. Why not buy two? Let's get that little sprinkle there. And we're going to put our label in. And as exciting as that was, I'm not going to do them all now. I'll do the other half of the tray after the show. And we'll come back to these with updates as we go on Monday Morning Live. Speaking of updates, I'll give you guys an update on the great broccoli growing experiment of 2026. Now this is using different concentrations of frass that has come from the caterpillars on our swan plants. I've had a great time watching the caterpillars grow, form their chrysalises, and then have the butterflies emerge. Wonderful experience with the kids. Now, this one I had no frass. This one I had a half strength frass, and this one was full strength. So basically, what happened is the ones that were half strength, they actually started to get a bit of a lead on, but the ones that are full strength now have taken over. You can see now there a good illustration of the effectiveness of using frass as a fertiliser. Right. We've planted some seeds, we've sown some seeds of flowers, we've revealed some flowers. I'm going to give some flowers. I'm going to give a shout out to my man Lee. He's watching from Japan. As I say, a global audience for Monday Morning Live. Shout out to Mum. Shout out to Renee. She's not actually watching at the moment, she's at the gym. She's getting a bit of well-earned time by herself. Again, okay, let's just face it. Shakespeare in Love, it was an amazing experience, but it was a huge commitment. Not just for me, but for the family. So I want to give a shout out to Renee. At the end of the show, I'm going to have an announcement regarding the 3-year anniversary of Monday Morning Live. But for now, I want to give some more flowers. I want to give some flowers to the amazing cast and crew of Shakespeare in Love. Just some amazing people that I've met. I want to give a shout out right now to my man Marcus. Thank you for watching. What happened to you at the after party? 1 minute you're there and next minute you're gone. Somebody thought you might have gone up in flames. All that cologne that you like to wear. Just kidding. Hang on, we've got a comment. Watching from Blenheim too. Yep, awesome. As I say, global audience. Marcus, now he's a classy guy. All class, all the time. What time is it? It's classy time. Especially if you're Marcus. Shout out to you. I want to give shout outs and spread some love, give some flowers to some of the other incredible cast members. Anton, Carlos, Andrew, Jim. Poor old Jim. He's such a lovely man. Lovely, lovely man, Jim. I start the show, Shakespeare in Love, basically yelling in his face, calling him a mongrel, and telling my two henchmen to cut off his nose and his ear. to huge laughs from the crowd. But it shows the sort of transformation that my character goes through. I start the play screaming in this guy's face, and I end the show basically in tears at the beauty of the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. Who else can I shout out to? Shout out to Phineas, shout out to Theo. I want to give a shout out to, obviously, Rose for the flowers. shout out to Amanda for discovering me at the Marlborough Farmers Market and getting me to come along to what I didn't realise at the time was an audition. I want to give a shout out to Pam. I want to give a shout out to Liz, the musical director. Here's a little story. Now, I don't have a joke of the week. I should have something about an actor, I don't know, getting into a car crash because he went over the lines. But I don't. What I have is a story. So we did 10 shows of Shakespeare in Love, and before each show we would do some form of warm-up. It would be, what would it be? Sort of 15, 20 minutes, and we'd play games, we'd do little activities, we'd warm up our vocal cords, we'd walk around humming, we would pretend to be different animals. There was one time that basically, unbeknownst to us, the actors, the plan for this particular warm-up was that for the first part of the warm-up, we would be with one of the directors, and we'd do our games, we'd do our warm-ups, tongue twisters, ba 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 ba, my mother makes me munch my M&M's on a Monday morning, ooh wah. That was an example. And then what we would do, now the rubbish truck has just come, which is appropriate because this show is turning into a load of garbage. Just going to pause for a moment. Right, let's get back to the story. So this warm-up that we did, the first part of the warm-up was with the director. And unbeknownst to us, the second part of the warm-up was going to be with the musical director, who is Liz. Lovely lady, very talented. So the first part was with the director, the second part was with Liz. Now we did so many goofy, crazy things in these warm-ups. And we were basically up for anything. So essentially the plan was to turn us over to Liz for the second part of the warm-up. We did our first warm-up with the director, and she said, right, now you're all Liz's. Meaning, it's over to Liz, you're all Liz's. The only thing is, myself and several of the cast members misheard and thought that she'd said, now you're all lizards. As in the lizard, a lizard. So several of us got down on the ground and started sort of slithering around, pretending to be lizards, sticking our tongue out, pretending to catch a bug, And the director's like, what in the heck are you doing? And we're like, you told us to be lizards, so we're lizards. And she said, no, not lizards, lizards. And so Liz came in and took over for the rest of the warm-up. But it's just an example of the fact that we bonded so closely, we lost our inhibitions, we were more than willing to get down on the ground and pretend to be lizards at the drop of a hat. So an amazing bonding experience with the cast and the crew of Shakespeare in Love. Again, thank you to everyone who came to see it live. Mostly sold out shows, hundreds and hundreds of people. We were able to entertain them by putting on this little play. Shout out to Brett, thank you for watching from Perth. Boy, we really are a global audience today. I'm spreading as much love and giving as many flowers as I can. Just got a text from One New Zealand. I'm not going to give a shout out to One New Zealand. So, basically to finish up, thank you to everyone who came to see me in Shakespeare in Love. Thank you to everyone who tunes in to Monday Morning Live here on Facebook and on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Monday Morning Live. You can find it by searching I, Benny Ward. And thank you to each and every one of you. I, Benny Ward, will see you next time in the garden, because diamonds are forever, and so is Monday Morning Live. Kia ora again, my friends. Just here, just completed Monday Morning Live MML 155. I've just sewn the second half, the other half of the tray of these violas. Now I mentioned during Monday Morning Live there'd be a special announcement at the end of the episode. This is all the more reason that you should watch here on YouTube as opposed to any other platform. These little bonuses, you don't get them on certain social media platforms. So the announcement is that next week is the 3-year anniversary of Monday Morning Live, episode 156. And I can't announce who it is, but what I can announce is that next week, at the 3-year anniversary of Monday Morning Live, I will announce only the second ever inductee into the Monday Morning Live Hall of Fame. So tune in next week to find out who it is. Thank you for joining me on Monday Morning Live, and I will see you next time in the garden.